And we are back. I am very excited to say that, with CES here, we have so many new products coming out. And one of the coolest products I saw was this one by Mudra. It is going to blow your mind. Joining me today is Steve Schuster, Guy Wagner, and Hadass Bresner. And let's talk about Mudra. Who would like to go first?
Well, I will start. What would you like to?
Sure. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what Mudra is, what it does, how you came up with the idea, and maybe also, what are some of the main applications people are using it for?
Okay. So I'm the company's chief scientist and president, and actually I started the company with my co-founders, Lior, who is our CTO, and Asher, who is our CEO, about 11 or 12 years ago, when we looked on. I was as a student working on BCIs a little bit, touching about it, like not directly, but I've seen researchers that work on it, and I was really excited about it. It was a big room with an EEG device that was very uncomfortable, and you had to put all these electrodes on your head. And that was like 20 years ago, and about 12, 13 years ago, when wearables started to go out, I said, wow, that's the opportunity where things can, in the end, everyone will have it, sorry, but there is a gap. There is a social gap, there is a technical gap, but wearables can close this gap and give you these superpowers in a shorter time frame. So that's where we started. That's the goal, to build a kind of a brain-computer interface that sits on your wrist, that can monitor your intent to do stuff, not the movement itself.
Right. So it's a brain computer interface that goes on your wrist and it lets you control your computer without using a mouse or keyboard. Is that the kind of concept behind Mudra?
Yes, exactly.
And so someone would put it on their wrist. They would go ahead and what is there a special app they need to open?
Yeah, I'll take this one. So there is an app, a companion app that you need to install. It's only needed for the first connection to actually set it up, do the onboarding just to learn how to correctly do the gestures. And then later on, it's a standalone device. So you can use the app if you want to, for firmware updates and to change settings and map things. But in general, after doing the first setup, it's a standalone device and you can just connect it to whatever device you want that is compatible. And you don't need to install the app onto that specific device. So you could just, for example, take it, connect it to your TV, and it's good to go right away.
So let's talk about what computers or devices it can be compatible with. It can go with the PC, it can go with the Mac, it can go with the iPhone
Yes, with iPhone, Android phones as well.
and Apple TV. And is there any other non-computer devices that it works with?
Basically, it can work with anything that you can connect a Bluetooth mouse to. It can work with. So this can be like XR glasses, VR headsets as well. Also some, if you do some kind of third-party apps, you can also connect it to like drones and like other devices that you can actually also control with the Mudra.
So basically, if you had one of those VR headsets, whether it be an Apple one or someone else's, you can literally connect it and use it as a way to navigate those menus and all those things. Is that right?
Yes, exactly.
Amazing. So that's a really crazy idea that you don't have to no longer be limited to using a mouse and keyboard to control your computer or any other device. Now, how did you come up with this sort of concept, Guy? Is it something that, I know you said it took years to develop, but how did you even start with the idea? Where did it come from?
Well, I must take it apart into two sections, because, as I told you, the goal was to build a brain-computer interface when it was something that that was very in a time that it was a very big and not a practical idea. The idea to make it like a daily interface was when we tried to commercialize and to find out the use cases that are best for what we want to do. And that's where our product team comes in and they helped us to build a good product. So there's the science part where we started, and the product where first meets the world. And I, there actually it has all kinds of stories around it because as I told you, I saw BCIs at the lab, and it was amazing, and I really wanted one like that. But I also really wanted to be able to just type my thoughts uh, into a notebook. There was no smartphone back then,
Mm-hmm.
or was very early with the smartphones. So the idea that I could, frictionlessly, share my ideas with something, that's something that I wanted. But it's still not that far along the road, but we'll get there. Currently, it's a mouse.
Got it. Got it. Now, at CES this year, you have shown off a few different versions of this mudra. Let's talk about those. What are the two benefits or the benefits of each of them?
You're talking about the Mudra Link versus the Mudra Band.
Yeah, exactly.
So in CES this year, we're focusing more on the Mudra Link. It's the more versatile product, I would say. So as you said, you've seen the Mudra Band previously. So the Mudra Band connects to the Apple Watch, and it works mainly with the Apple ecosystem. So it's very good for users who, work within the Apple ecosystem. It can also You can easily switch between the connections. It's multi-device compatible at once. You don't have to disconnect and reconnect. So that's a benefit that the Mudra Band has. But the Mudra Link is where our main focus is on because it's a standalone device, as I said. And so this actually allows you to actually connect it to basically any device that you want, and specifically also like XR devices like glasses and VR headset, which is where we see that the most benefit you can get the most benefit and the main use case for this product right now.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Someone who has one of those headsets or glasses on really could take advantage of some kind of a interface to control it. Is there any main companies that you guys have been working with to, I guess, give them an enhancement to their glasses?
We're actually open to work with anyone. So because we use the HID protocol, you basically can directly work with any glasses, any smart TVs, but uh, but we are working with companies to make the experience more suit to their glasses. So you mentioned earlier the Rocket. I'm not sure which of them we have already published, so I'm not sure which of them we can talk about.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, we don't want you to give away any information that you can't share yet.
The Roku news already went out last week.
Great. So Rokid is going to be one of the glasses that you guys are going to be paired with. Now, is it going to come as a bundle or people are going to buy it two separate things? Is there anything set for that?
It's not going to be bundled. It's a separate. It's You
Good.
buy them separately.
So they don't have to. People don't, if they don't want to use the two together, they don't have to. But if they do, they have the option to buy each one separately and use them together as a seamless interface. Now, let's actually shift gears. Have you guys done a lot of testing with any accessibility issues? Because I think, when I think about a band being on someone's arm and being able to move up and down, maybe they don't have the dexterity to use a keyboard or a mouse. Has there been any testing with accessibility?
So actually, I don't know to tell you directly about testing. That's something maybe Adas you can share later. But we are doing a project with the Mudra Link as a rehabilitation device for people that were brain injured and can't move their hand.
Ah,
So If, for example, you suffer a brain injury from a trauma or from a stroke, and you can't move your fingers, we can give you a feedback that will allow you to do a lot, to learn how to reoperate your hand. So I guess in a way it answers your question.
Got it. Yeah. So that sounds interesting. So just to be clear for everybody to understand, when you have the band on, you still have to move your fingers to control it, right?
Yeah, so the gestures that we use currently, you do need to move your fingers. For example, there's like a tap between your index finger and thumb and pressing and holding like this. So you do need to actually do the motion. And of course, we're working on the future, like Guy said, on having more micro gestures and intent-based things. But right now, the actual product, you do need to move it to do
So,
the gesture.
and with the current link, there's actually the ability to map gestures of your own. Is that right?
So it's not to map gestures of your own. We
Uh,
have the preset defined gestures, but you can map the command that it does.
that's
So
that's
it
that's
comes
sort
with
of what I was
a
looking for.
specific default. Yeah, it comes with a specific default, and you can actually map it and change it to a different keyboard function or keyboard combination or a media control, for example.
Right. So I'm thinking about someone who's using Photoshop and they want to use a certain keyboard command to do something that they do hundreds of times an hour. And this is an easy way that they can map those keyboards or that keyboard combo to be with the Mudra.
Exactly. You can use it as like shortcuts to macros, etc.
Now, once you have it paired to, let's say, your computer, can you pair it to a second device at the same time, or do you have to unpair one and repair to the other?
So currently, with the Mudra Link, as I said, you can only connect it to one device, and then you'd have to disconnect. We are looking into the possibility of making it multi-device compatible like the Mudra Band, but yeah, right now it's one device at a time.
Got it. So if someone's interested in getting the Mudra Link or the Mudra Band, where would they find ways to buy it, and how much does it cost?
So you can find the product to purchase on our website, which is mudra-band.com. And the Mudra Link is priced at $299 and the Mudra Band is $349.
All right. So again, not a inexpensive purchase, but it makes a lot of sense considering that it's doing all these functions. I think it's really good value in that sense. So it sounds like the Mudra Band and Mudra Link are two amazing products, and I think they're exceptional value. Guy, is there anything that I guess fans of Mudra should look forward to in the future?
Yes, so in the future, we believe we'll be able to let our users use more micro gestures like swipes, other finger types, and even control without moving the fingers at all, just with thinking about moving some of the fingers. Uh, I believe that in the future you will be able to have other customizable gestures of your own. I cannot promise when you will have it out, but we are working on that.
Got it. Well, it sounds like a really awesome product, and I think it got a lot of buzz at CES about it because I think it's something so unique that people can use right away, which is nice because a lot of things that we see at CES aren't actually available today. They're concepts, and this is a product that's actually out there on the market. It's usable, and regardless if you're using a Windows machine, a Mac, a tablet, an iPad, or just a headset like a VR headset, you really have the full capability. If someone wants to learn more about Mudra, is there websites, socials? Where can people look it up?
Yeah, so like I said, you can purchase, but you can also read more about the science and look more about at the product on our website, which is mudra-band.com. And there's also the link to all the socials on the website, but on most socials, I think it's Mudra. I'm not sure actually what the actual socials are, the exact names,
There's
but
the wearable devices site.
No
There's
problem. Yeah, I'm
the
sure
company.
if you go to their website, you'll find all their social media and how to get in touch with them. My last question to you guys is: what does Mudra? What is Mudra? What does it mean?
So mudra is actually a word from Hindi, or anyone that practices yoga or Buddhism probably knows it. It's The gesture, it's actually means a gesture. It can any gesture, but that's the famous one. And it's also actually in Indian culture, it's also currency. But my wife is a yoga teacher, and I also practiced yoga and meditation in the past. So it was, an obvious name for a product that works with gestures.
Very cool. Very cool. I'm sure that makes a lot of sense. And I think it's, if it's that kind of a move and you have to do that move when you're wearing the band, that makes perfect sense. Well, Guy, Hadass, Steve, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it. And I'm sure people will love Mudra. I think they should check it out. And I will put a full link and description below, and you guys can read all about it.